So anyway, so I'm from asya.ai, and what we have here. So the app that we built is primarily focused for the couples, and this very specific couples. So the couples who have small children, because the research shows that almost every couple that have small children develops some serious problems with the relationships. And one of the reasons is that they are not talking to each other in a meaningful way, and they are not using positive emotions. And there's a lot of research around that. And so we have an app that you would use as a help for conversations. It will make your conversations better. It would make difficult conversations easy. It would make them fun, and basically a lot of cool stuff. So, and it's based on like award-winning design. We won the design award, I think 2018. And so yeah. Okay, so I see something written there. Anyways, so, and it will give the feedback regards to emotions that we detect in voice. So they are biometric detection of the emotions, and it will not be robotic. It shows the like growing the flower and stuff. By the way, I'm just telling about the app in the beginning, and then I will jump into like more developer stuff and more of the startup stuff, so you can help me to direct the conversation in whatever direction you want. So, and it will give you the feedbacks. So with regards to feedbacks, that's also a quite fun thing. We are right now heavily changing the app UX, so that we discovered that users don't want to see that they did something bad, you know, like for example the what is it, Fitbit, right? It says that hurrah, you get 10,000 steps today, right? It doesn't tell you after the day you did bad, you did only 500 steps or whatever. So that's like a key thing that you should remember if you're doing some B2C apps and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the like the current, I think the new version is a bit different. So it shows the emotions of you and the partner. So they are based on biometric Western culture way of talking. So you can think of, probably you have played the game of Sims when you were small, right? Or like, I don't know, when you, hopefully you know the game of Sims, and they are always talking in this mumbling language, right? And you can tell if the person is angry just by this mumbling language. And this is basically what we have. And also there is topics. So there are at this moment, over 6,000 topics, and they are linked together with emotions and psychology. These sessions where psychologists helped us to design them. And there's a subscription app that's growing. Like there are quite a few good things around this. So the one thing that's maybe if you're building an app, it's a great place to be is a Testio. So we have been twice in Testio, and the second time when being there, we got interviewed by Forbes, and they wrote an article, small part of the article about us. That was good exposure. So the Forbes global one, not the Latvian one. So, and we when we founded the company, that was about 2 years ago. So we two brothers, I myself from the scientific side and my brother from UX side. So I took on in the company the, so just a second, that's interesting. What happened? Oops, I started from the beginning. Yeah, so I took in the company part of my scientists. So like the scientist community that I'm connected, there are a lot more people. But basically some of the PhD students, master students, and basically there are a few UX designers, and we joined the forces and started building on our research something that looks very simple, but it's very difficult in background. So, and also we have advisors of psychologists, clinical psychologists, academic psychologists, some of them masters, some are like working with couples. And also there's a lot of cool theory behind, so that's something maybe some of you might be interested in decision making. So one of our partners is in Germany. They are from Köln University. But that theory is basically very simple, very similar to Daniel Kahneman, Slow and Fast Thinking. That's a book that I highly recommend anyone. So that's like about the human biases in their thinking on the that basically shows that no human on the earth is rational, and you can easily test this. And this guy got the Nobel Prize as well. So anyway, here there's the idea that emotions are the one of the key aspects for decision making. When your emotions and cognitive system are in balance, I mean, like they both agree, then you actually do the decisions in a positive direction. If they are not agreeing with each other, no matter if the decision is good or not, you will not do that decision, and that's a cool research. Then there's one part of maybe I'll jump in a little bit on the heavy part of what we're doing. So we're publishing the research, and we are also like all of the stuff that's in the background of the app. It's also like scientific work. So one is maybe you have heard about NVIDIA RTX voice. So that's like the children are screaming in background, and it's magically removed, and it's leaved only voice. So that kind of models we also have. So, and we published that kind of model. So you can use the app in like noisy places. And then the other one is from Apple Face ID. We have Voice ID, and that's what we got actually the best award of the best research award paper, from the America. I had to evacuate from Silicon Valley basically when the coronavirus started. There was in Auckland, there was a ship of cruise ship of Corona. It arrived, and then they were all start panicking, and then I had to leave. But basically, that was really cool that we got the award also for this paper. And this is like every cluster in this space is a different speaker. And if you know something about machine learning, you usually train the model, and then you give the samples, and then it classifies, for example, the samples. In this case, this is not the case. These are zero shot, basically, voice ID or few shot. Basically, the idea is that during the training process, the model has never seen any of your samples, and it's only in inference process. So basically, yeah. So anyways, maybe I actually have so with regards to tempo, there's also cool stuff. So some people are estimating how fast you speak by words per minute, and depending on language, that is not really good way to estimate the speech. Better way would be to estimate the syllables per minute, and to do that, you need machine learning models, and we have those. You have face identifications. I think the fun thing is about the emotions. So now we are in the process of publishing publication in collaboration with psychologists. The fun thing that we discovered, like mining data from YouTube, that we found that like you say, like they say that men do not show emotions, but that's not the case after the sports games. So we found like a treasure trove of data of male people expressing huge amount of emotions after the sports games. The angry like coaches, and happy winners, the happy like small children. And our models are more accurate than what you get on, let's say, Azure ML or some other like emotion detection models that are based just purely on the faces. And there are a lot of stuff regards that, like just single image face, and the emotion detection from that still picture. That is really wrong way how to do that. And the other thing that's maybe interesting is that you can try out all of the stuff inside the emotions.asya.ai. So it's not actually all of the stuff, but some of it. So we developed like emotional intelligence stuff, intelligence test, and some other tools that you can try to benchmark yourself against average population, how well you recognize emotions, and then at the same time, while you're doing that, you validate basically the consensus of some of those emotions. Yeah, and those emotions then are connected with the topics. So for the topics, I'm not sure like how much you know about all of these machine learning models. I'm very happy to talk a lot about machine learning. I can even like pick up another presentation just to do an intro in all cool stuff regarding machine learning, deep learning. Basically, you can have the essence of the sentence encoded as a vector, and you can measure the distances between the meanings of the sentences. And then you can imagine that you can have, let's say, cosine distances between different sentences and then match them with some emotions. Basically, if you get positive emotions with one kind of sentences, negative with others, so you can segment your 6,000 topics in the way to generate positive conversations. So that's what we have. And now, recently, we also started doing B2B stuff. So we're trying to monetize those models also in the B2B front. And in the B2B, you can also imagine there's cool stuff happening. You know, you can, if you give the agent ability to incentivize positive emotions, incentivize listening to the customer, right? Like the research that we've done so far, it shows that you can get up the sales, you can get up the customer satisfaction. And now, yeah, so now we're at the I have some slides regard to our story. I don't see any questions so far. So I mean, like, yeah. So let's do one small poll. So should I talk more about the at this stage about the machine learning, deep learning stuff, or should I give the story of the ASYA? So story or deep learning? Story or deep learning? What do you prefer? So that's going to be interactive direction. So I can give you a short story regarding where we are right now with an ASYA, with this startup, or we can I can give you another short info regards to deep learning, because I'm not sure how well you actually know all of this stuff. Okay, cool. Deep learning. So one vote for deep learning. So I will, while you are voting, I will find the presentation. So the story, 1-to-1. Let's see. So I will try to quickly find these presentations. Okay, you want here both, okay. By the way, I should have asked more questions in the beginning, because now I'm not sure really how deep are you with all of this deep learning stuff. So deep learning, a lot of people want deep learning. That's cool. That's cool. So, okay, let's do another small quick question. So type in plus if you have like experience. Actually, you have coded something or you have experience with PyTorch, TensorFlow, Keras, some other deep learning stuff. So if you have experience something in regards to that direction, type in plus. If you not have, then type in minus. So it'll help me to also, because I have really advanced stuff, you know, some presentations that I show to PhD students to get them interested in mathematics. And then I have some not so hard stuff. Oh, nice. We have at least one person who is experienced with all this stuff. What about others? So I expect story. Great. So what do you have? 1, 2, 3 for the story, 4 for the story, I guess. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have like almost like 50-50. And it seems like that with regards to understanding, so 2 persons answered. One said that he is familiar with all this stuff with deep learning. Other one, he's not. So I would just appreciate if somebody else also gives a little feedback regarding the deep learning. And meanwhile, I guess let's do quickly the story, and then I will give a very short version regards to deep learning. It will give you maybe some hints into direction where to search more. So we started 2018 in basically during the summer. So we developed really a simple, very dumb like interface here. So that was app where you had to manually press every time when you start to speak, and then stop when you start to speak, and that constructed all of these graphs. And the idea was that there is research showing that if you speak in the conversation format and you speak long time, the other person like don't get anything of that, and you just waste the time, and you probably also annoy the other person. So we wanted to make an app that kind of helps for that, but it was exactly like if you had like a Fitbit where you had to press every time when you make a step. That was not a good way. So then I bought a GPU server, deployed it at my home, and built the first model for to do this automatically, to just segment the speakers. And then that was the first year when they started Altum-based these like accelerators. There are 3 accelerators still running. I think like they will soon be closed. So if you have a startup idea, or maybe some even better, some prototypes, you should start applying immediately, because they are, I think, planning to close those accelerators now. So we got in the first batch together with some other cool guys, like from Windmill, I think like Fitbit. I mean, at this last bit, there was a lot of cool companies. Yeah, we applied for Build It because we wanted to build a hardware device as an interface for this kind of let's say like conversation and emotion tracking. And the funny thing is that it's already, so last week, Amazon built such a device. You can buy it under $100 in Amazon store right now. I think it's called Halo, Amazon Halo. So it's a device that you can like wear as a Fitbit, but it monitors your emotions from voice all day, and you can switch off the microphone when you don't want it to monitor your emotions. And basically that was our pitch for the Build It. And the funny thing is that as soon as we applied for the Build It, we also got interviewed by Amazon Alexa Accelerator. So we were considering joining that. And like 2 years from later, but we found out that Amazon Alexa Accelerator like stole ideas not only from us, but from like all around the world, from startups, because that accelerator was only fake accelerator. So they got actually sued for that. So we registered the company. We got from that accelerator 20K in the beginning. At that moment, we had a prototype. Then we so that's a entry, like basically if you get in those accelerators, you probably get around that kind of money. Then we also won the grants from Jedvasma, from this kind of grant, from Atspēriens, Rīgas Dome. So from these places we got the grants, so that's quite cool. There are some more places where you can get grants. Then we got the first place in the Digital Freedom Festival, and actually that was like the Digital Freedom Festival itself, like maybe not like a event where you it was a good experience. Just after that, we got our first proper investor from Change Ventures. So the Change Ventures have recently raised another new fund, and they are really excellent investors. I would recommend them to anyone, and they are still looking for companies where to invest right now. And yeah, then the test show, as I said, with the Forbes, that's an excellent place to be always. Like we attended already 2 test shows. Both of them gave us a lot of like things that led to more profit. So Then there is another thing that's really cool that you should be aware of if you make your own company, startups, or whatever, is that you can get 100K, like 100,000 USD or dollars from Amazon and also from the Google Cloud. And you can use that for training your AI models and everything. So, but there is only one requirement. You must have investor that is a partner with those programs. So if you need some advice on that, I can give you that. And basically the change ventures, and there were also some other ways how we accessed those. And we spent both of them. So we spent 200K in training AI models. Then there was also period that was really nice period where we had office in Jurmala, because we got in the incubator program. Incubator program is alternative to the accelerator programs that we have in Latvia. The incubator program don't give you cash in front, but they multiply your they co-found your expenses, and they co-found a lot of expenses. You can get 80K every year for 4 years. But there is a serious problem that if you got money from Accelerator, appears that you cannot get money from the incubator, and we had to leave that incubator. That was really a sad moment, but they were really great guys, and also the program itself, it's really recommended, because they are not taking any equity. The accelerators will take the equity, but the incubators will not. So then we won the design award. Then we got another 50K from Build It. Then in 2019, like in summer, we launched the first version on the App Store and the Play Store. So there's another small thing that I want to mention. I assume that there are quite a few developers here. So I mean that if I would do this again, I would probably not use React Native as our platform. That is just like for the both platforms, Android and the App Store, because as we found out later, that is the reason why actually there are quite a few apps only on the Apple App Store, because Apple App Store makes money, Android Play Store don't make money. So you should be like not spending money on things that doesn't make money, you know. So yeah, that's one thing. Then we also attended in New York Voice Summit. That was quite interesting stuff. The Magnetic Latvia gave us their grant. Basically, if you have like startup, you can apply every year for 4K for free to go to the conferences from Magnetic Latvia. And yeah, the one key takeaway from that trip in New York was that there was a large amount of startups who were building APIs in the voice machine learning field, and that they were not successful. So if you have some kind of product that don't have any like real life application, that you just build API, that's like much easier than if you have like a huge company like Google or whatever. Like you're a small startup, it's really hard to get out there. And then also we had one kind of sidestep. First, try to get into B2B, and the first try there was a promise of 200K investment, and the partners were Speed Invest and Contrarian Ventures. So both of them really cool venture funds. I mean, especially in Contrarian Ventures, there's a really like smart guy Rokas, and in Speed Investors, a really smart guy David. But it kind of fell apart. So we went to London, to all the skyscrapers, had a really like I guess we were in the coolest like offices that we have ever been. But at the end, it kind of didn't work out. So afterwards, we still got 50K investment from Build It because we showed some good results. Then we all of this happened before all the coronavirus, right? So we flew to different conferences, to Norway, to there was a RigaCom, that was a good one. Then at some point we discovered that for our app, the influencers work. So we started working with influencers. We're still working with influencers. So they make some videos where they use the app, and then afterwards we see a huge income of the users. And during that year, we met first investors from outside the Latvia. So that was like a Canadian-based private equity and Turkish-based startup. So if you have an early stage startup, then I would highly recommend also Starters Hub, because they said that they are now focusing on Baltics region as well, because I think they had a cool experience with us. So we raised a little money of that. There was additional money that should be invested in all of this product, but we didn't get it because the Turkish law was changed. So there was the idea that you cannot invest you can invest only a certain amount of money outside the Turkey, right? So they offered us to move to Turkey, but that was not really a good option for us. So then at that moment we had over 1,000 users, and we got invited to attend something that is super cool. I think like if you also have machine learning, deep learning startup, you definitely should check out, or maybe I can write an intro. Creative Destruction Lab. That is something that is originally from Canada, Toronto, and now it's also in Oxford, University of Oxford. And this is like a huge session where they fly in all of the investors and advisors from all over the world. There were like half of them were from America, half of them like from Europe, and this super intense day. So they make one day, and then they have a voting system like you imagine like some reality show. They vote you out or leave you in the program, and you need to get like step by step to these runs of 2 months. And afterwards, I guess like those who stay the whole program, they get like really good partners and investors, because all of them are running like huge funds basically, and they are focused on the scientific startups primarily. So that thing. And so what about, yeah, so there is something not working for me, just a second. Okay, then this year, so this year the one thing that was really cool that I also advise all of the startups is that when you have like opportunities to speak in like conferences that you think maybe are not that huge, like like TESTIL is like the huge conference around Baltics that everybody like loves, right? But there is also a conference, the Ecom 21, like this one was I think it was when it was, okay, this is 2020, sorry. So 2020, beginning of 2020. So, and the thing was that in that conference, I actually got really good contacts. And this was the first time when I met the really smart guys from the Expansion Capital, the investor fund, the venture capital fund. And just by attending that conference, that's probably not as big as TESTIL, at the end we closed the 250K round with the Expansion Capital, so that like not lose the opportunities that you have, right? And the other thing was again similar way. There is another organization, the Private Club of Investors, like alternative to Latban. There is a Changer Club, and they are primarily Russian-based investors. And we got invited to their like kind of event, and we actually got a prize for best startup at that event. And basically there was no actually like investors who were ready to bet the money on something risky, but at the same time I met their Israeli people like the company, so they're really smart guys. That was really fun story, because these guys moved from Israel to live in Latvia just because they like Latvia, and they're running B2C app business, and they introduced us to the concept of ASYO, App Store optimization. And basically, the App Store optimization is the way how you can make money almost of any app if you know how to use it properly. Basically, the hypothesis is there that if you want to sell B2C app, you should not sell it on the posters or YouTube channels or whatever. You should sell it in the place where it's where you actually look for apps. So the idea is that if you go, for example, inside the store, you want to buy the toothpaste that is in the front of you. You don't want to go to the cashier and ask, please bring me that toothpaste ABC from the warehouse, and that's the way. So you need to get your app in the upper rankings in the keywords and in the category search. So they introduced in that, and they have been a huge help for us over the whole year. They advised a lot of things that we did, and we see that if we, for example, do the proper organic growth keyword campaign, then like if you had a baseline like this after the campaign, when we are not paying, we get the traffic like let's say for 20% more. So it's a way to grow your traffic without paying and sustaining it organically. That's really cool way. Yeah, then that was also a cool time just before the coronavirus, where I had the opportunity to fly to Moscow to speak in one conference. There we got some cool contacts with large companies, and then also to at this like in a few weeks to the America, and we also got for that the traveling grant. And during this whole process, there were quite a few cool things in a way. So one thing is that because all of this investor network that we already grew, we got incoming offers for buying another apps. So basically, there are quite a few apps that are like startups that they not really succeeding, but they have huge traffic, and they are just trying to sell those apps. So in this case, we had the offer to buy some of those apps, and like we almost bought one American startup. Basically, that would be quite interesting at this stage. But at the end, the founder like kind of we could not agree on the final terms. He wanted a little bit more money than we were willing to pay, and the SEO experts encouraged us that we can reach those numbers with lower amount of money. So during the 2020, basically, sorry for this, during the end of the summer and the autumn, we got first subscribers. Like we introduced the half-year subscription fee, and at around 3,000 users, we got first subscribers, and now we're closing in to 7,000 users at this moment. And like the month over month for the users is not really that fast, but we also don't have a really like like networking effects and stuff like that. So we have like let's say about 7% month over month the base growth, and then for the paying customers is much better. And also the B2B sales, so now they are even more than here listed. And at this stage, we also were very happy that actually the 2019 we bought our own servers for GPUs. We bought them from crypto miners when crypto were low, because I can assure you that like if you are not a huge company like enterprise, then it's so much more cheaper to run your own GPU servers than try to buy them from cloud. That is like crazy expensive. You need to work proper model training and stuff like that. Yeah, and there are also some EU projects that we are working right now with the research type of things. So maybe I can share later the presentation, or you can look up the slides. There, I kind of added some of the grants that for early stage startups, or the guys who want to make your own companies, right? You can access money for free without the equity, right? And also accelerators. So these take equity. So they will take, let's say, 6%, 10%, 3%, depending on the deal, right? And pre-seed funds. So these would be the investor funds, VC funds that would be able to let's say invest in the early stage. So that's regards to startup story. So maybe you have some questions regards to startup story, and then I will, if you want, I can quickly jump into few things regards to deep learning, because I also running the community of deep learning. So do you have any questions regards to our small story that we went through and stuff? Okay, I don't hear you. What about others? I'm not sure. Can you hear me? If you hear me, then you can add plus sign in the chat. Okay, you hear me. Okay, maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe others can hear you. Okay? Can others hear me? That's a good question. No. Okay. So maybe you can restart your browser. What is your B2B business? Okay. So we I had that small slide regards to those few models that we have. So the background of the app, it's really like complicated, like the heavy stuff of those models. And those models, for example, the emotion detection model from the biometric features of the voice or face can like the deals that we have right now on B2B is in a case that like for example in UK, the British Airways, when they get, for example, the call center, let's say especially for the sales, then the agent would see that how many positive emotions that he expressed, positive moments. It's not, the agent would not get information about negative moments and the moments of listening. So if he is trained from talking and let the customer speak, so those metrics. And for the manager, they would use also the conversational models, and they would get the full metrics. So the full metrics would include the listening ratios, the breakdown of the emotions, like if there's like some, for example, fatigue going on, then the agent is working, let's say 8 hours, and you can see the line that the positivity drop.